Welcome back to the Local 865. Today we are going to just take it light. Have just a fun time. We're both kind of tired, but we're giving us our best shot. So I'm Dr. Bruce, Dr. of Acupuncture, here in Dandridge, Tennessee. Go on, Tobe.
I'm Toby Downey, pastor at Holston Baptist Church. Thankful to be here. Like I said last week, Bruce and I missed this during our little sabbatical that we had to take due to circumstances of life. That's one thing I want to be light about today.
Yes.
Is there is no time. I mean, does this attribute of life come with gray hair?
Yeah, and the loss of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything's getting so packed into, all right, we all know that our attention span is being butchered and carved, and people just don't have it due to doom scrolling.
Doom scrolling.
Yeah. But at the same time, there are so many little fires everywhere at all times. It's insane. I don't understand. I don't remember my parents growing up like this.
No, I don't either.
And my mother and father had 4 boys.
Mm-hmm.
So there was always something, but then there was like long periods of rest where nothing's going on. But I don't see any long periods of rest.
I don't know that many people with a side hustle anymore.
Without or with?
With.
I
mean like a legitimate side hustle.
Yeah.
Used to, everybody had a 50-hour week job and a farm at home.
Yeah.
And now nobody's.
Well, their side hustle, the people I've seen, is either going to doctor's appointments or taking their kids to sporting events.
I thought we were keeping it light. That's not light, because that's too true. I mean, I know people who say, well, what do you like to do? Well, I don't do much. I don't fish anymore. I don't hike anymore. I don't go to the mountains anymore. Well, what do you do? I go to the doctor.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is us being light right now. We're just throwing it off the side here. Yeah. So this is a great opportunity to think about how do we create new rest periods for ourselves. Honestly. That is, even though we always promote get out and be part of the community, there's also got to be that rest period.
Mm-hmm.
You give. There's got to be a point where you go, my bandwidth, like I'm at my limit. My social battery is now running on E. I need to take a moment to catch my breath and check in with me. Even though you should be doing that daily, this is a bigger scheme of like people who graduate from school and they go, I'm going to take some time. I'm going to find myself. That there's that whole, like you've taken on a large task, and now I have to kind of process and reevaluate who I am now after doing that. But yeah, getting into that. Sorry, I'm rambling because I spent a lot of time playing with my son last night.
This is how I can give an analogy of the way I feel in this circumstance. Being there for the community, being there for individuals, even used to, whenever a house caught on fire, there was a bucket brigade.
Yeah,
and everybody come running with their buckets. And the way I feel with today's schedule, I mean, we have micro demands on a micro time frame.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I feel like I'm showing up and I've got my buckets, but there ain't no water in it.
Yeah.
And that's energy, aptitude, consciousness, just being able to be present to help somebody.
Right.
It's a pretty big demand. And what do we edit? Everything's about augmentation or supplementation now. What if a better life was key by taking stuff out?
Yeah. That's that whole minimalizing. You sent me that video on that guy. Yeah. That's always a great plan. And this also has to do with being ingrained, indoctrinated. Do you remember the movie Fight Club?
Yeah, I love that movie.
Where he's like, so I graduated high school and I said, okay, now what, Dad? Well, now you go to school. And he goes to school. Okay, now what, Dad?
Yeah.
Now you go to you get a job. Oh, get a job. Okay, now what, Dad? I don't know. So we're always like thinking that there has to be an end goal every time we put our feet on the floor.
Didn't Neil Young write a song about that?
Probably.
Yeah.
You want to sing it?
No, I don't. We've been singing Frank Sinatra in the office this morning.
That's life.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's removing the parts that don't belong. Sometimes, though, we have to consider how much of our identity have we created with that.
Mine is not marginal. Mine is majoral.
Yeah, I think though there's a concept we have to. And I had sent that to you too. When you live your life with purpose, and you are the fiber of that purpose. Like, there's plenty of other practitioners of Chinese medicine in the world, but they do not practice my medicine.
Yeah.
Same thing. There's plenty of preachers in the world, but they don't preach Toby's.
They don't pastor my flock.
Right. So, but there's other things that we tend to create an identity with. Back in the 80s, there's that TV show Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows your name. Was it a good thing that everybody knew your name there? And like, so we create societal little groups that we create our identity in. We do it on Facebook. We do it on YouTube. We do it not so much in society anymore.
No, not real life, face to face.
But when you go on the Facebook and you see, oh, this is the music they listen to. This is the movies they like. These are their friends. All the world's a stage and everyone's an actor. Mm-hmm. Shakespeare. Mm-hmm. If we can disassemble that part of ourselves so we can be more present, I think really that puts the brakes on things a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But sometimes this is necessary.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy of mine, and I talked to him yesterday, and I laughed about it. I said, I'm not asking your permission to do this. He put something out on Facebook on Sunday, and this guy is a phenomenal character. He is a very loving guy. He's a police officer in another state. But he recently, he came up, his father was a pastor, and he came up in the culture of Christianity, but mm-hmm. he didn't know Christ until a year ago. Mm-hmm. And he had a spiritual awakening, and he realized there was something more than the motions. There was something that had to be sustenance. And God changed his life. Well, he gets on Facebook, and yesterday he called me. And he said, when you were on Facebook, how did you handle people responding to you? And I said, well, one, you don't do things for the likes, you do things for the reach. I said, the likes and the dislikes and all that, you can set yourself up to swallow a gun barrel if you follow that kind of stuff. What you're trying to do, I mean, when God tells you to do something like what he did on Sunday, and I think I'm going to show it before church starts. I want to show it on the big screen before church starts, because there's so many people in our churches today that think church is sufficient. Church is not sufficient. Right. You've got to have, I mean, if that's the only time that you're spiritual throughout the course of the week, you live a heavy life, man.
Yeah.
And you don't know the unburdening of the body. Mm-hmm. You, as a matter of fact, if you're not going to church in the spirit, going to church in itself is another burden on the body.
I agree. We had this conversation that brought up two things. One, the fact that we are so wrapped up in ourselves and our emotions. We are being charged through fear. We're being charged through hate. We are in charge through wanting, like always feeling inadequate because we can't get the next new thing, is driving our attention away from the present, which makes us feel like we are stuck in putting out small fires and showing up with the empty bucket.
And then you're like, hey, I'm here, and you don't even get credit for being there. I mean, it's not like you're doing it for credit anyway, but you're not contributing. You're
Right.
there. You're simply there.
Sure.
Well, what Cleve asked me about was, how did you handle that? Because during COVID, when everybody shut down and we climbed inside of our phones and our computers, I could have been an influencer. I guess I was an influencer, but I don't want that on my resume.
Hmm.
If I'm going to influence you, I'm going to influence you this way. I don't want it to be, that's not my calling, I don't think. Some people are made for that, and I applaud them. I'm not one of those people. And it's not the criticism. It's not the hate that you get for being positive. What it is it's the siphoning of yourself whenever you're overextended. You know, used to Walter Cronkite got on the television every day and he gave the news, but nobody picked up the phone and called him and said, Walt, tell me how you really feel.
Right.
Or, I've got this problem. Well, we were talking about another problem. I know, but I've got this problem. And before you know it, you're that last little daub of jelly in the bottom of the jar, and the world is a huge piece of toast, and people are trying to scrape out you,
yes,
and make you be spread as thin as possible, and there's no quality of life in it for that. And I think that's why we are seeing, not just going to see, but we are already seeing technology burnout. And I'm all about that. I'm all about that.
There are younger generations who refuse to get a phone.
Yep.
Also refuse to drive.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand that.
But no, with that, even if you think about, if you look on YouTube and the suggested, there's always really big, bold
clickbait
titles, but I've seen it with other YouTubers where they have that big surprise look on their face, and like for what? Great, garlic powder beats turmeric. Do we really need to have a big surprise look? Can we just have the information, please?
Yeah.
Fellowship is a great way of resetting, but it doesn't have to be fellowship with others. It can be fellowship in silence and contemplation. Fellowship, just taking a moment to be present with yourself. That is a big thing. We don't unplug from social media, from just regular media. We don't unplug enough to allow ourselves to recharge. Prayer, meditation, breath work, we're unplugging and we're getting ourselves in fellowship with this being here. And that's very important. And we had the conversation once before. I also am in the belief that your fellowship should be so this is going to be a story. When I was in Chinatown, I was invited to a Christian church that was, I think they were Baptist, but it was all in Chinese, all in Mandarin. And they go, okay, hey, why don't you come and have lunch with us? So I went, and for 2 hours, it was just, nobody talked to me. It was just all in Chinese. And at the time, my ex-wife was Chinese, so she's cackling away with everybody else. And I go, hey, I'm going to get going. I've been sitting here for 2 hours. And they go, oh, you should come back out for fellowship. That's what they said. And thank you. But that right there, those little clicks happen everywhere, and it just like drove the nail into the coffin of, I need to be able to create fellowship with everybody who comes into my office, with every interaction. I'm not going to be able to do it every time, but the objective, the goal, is to have a spiritual connection with each person that I meet, and from there, things get a little bit smoother. You don't take everything as an insult. And Jersey people have really tough, leathery skin. They don't even know that you're insulting them sometimes. You have to be very, very direct.
Yeah. By the way, I just insulted you.
Yeah, but this is something that we can practice too. Is we learn to sit in our own fellowship and then get in the habit of bringing that back out. Ebbs and flows, high tide, low tide. We just, hey, I'm starting to feel low tide. We're going to just withdraw a little bit, breathe, rest, laugh, and then bring that back out.
This Friday night, of course, and you're more than welcome to be there. We are starting our winter pool tournament at my house.
Oh, nice.
I wanted to do it for years, but I'm incentivized now to do it more than ever. And I just got off my hind end and started planning it. But the people that will be there, it's men. It's not that we don't love women, but we miss that about fellowship. And I've talked about it before. Men used to have a campfire.
Yes.
Men used to have a diner.
Mm-hmm.
Men used to have a place. We had the barber shop.
Cheers.
Yeah, you had the bar.
Yeah.
You had the neighborhood bar. But we don't have that anymore. And the way we do church now, it's let's see how fast we can get in and see how fast we can get out. So there's no communal aspect to it. So I'm doing this because I love to play pool. I don't play pool. I shoot pool. I don't play. That's another problem I have. I don't play.
Yes.
There's nothing about me that plays anymore.
I completely understand.
Even when I fish, I mean, that's why I quit competitive fishing. Was I enjoy it so much that it was becoming a drudgery.
Mm-hmm.
It was becoming a setup to failure. If you don't win, if you don't outperform, I just want to play for one. But another thing is, we get behind closed doors and you celebrate each other. You laugh, not at each other. You laugh with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that, if God gave me any redeeming characteristic to all my flaws, it's I have the capability to laugh at myself. Sometimes it's a fake laugh, but I can do it, and eventually it comes around and it's genuine. So this will be a couple 3 hours where we eat together. We find out, like this Friday night, not a qualifier per se, it's a ranking, and we're going to do just the APA rules of ranking from 1 to 7, and just see, because I don't want people that have never shot pool before to come in and play somebody that shoots every day, all day. And I want the longevity of this. We're going to do it one Friday in October, one in November, one in December. And that's just to kind of get everybody seated and start the brackets. And then through those doldrums of winter, when the days are short and people are just spent, this is going to be an opportunity where you got something to look forward to. I'm going to go to the preacher's house and we're going to laugh, we're going to cut up, and we're going to compete. And hopefully, this is a very underrated attribute of competition. It boosts testosterone.
For sure. Yeah.
Whether it be mental competition or whether it be physical competition. Well, that's one reason I love billiards. It's the best of both worlds. Because you're not only playing a competitor, you're playing yourself.
Right.
And that's the appeal of golf. It's a singular person event. There's no team in it.
Right.
And that's what pool is. And if somebody that's never held a pool stick before comes in, and before you know it, they've found something that they can take their mind away from the real world for a little while with and find something to get better at. And I promise you, there's not going to be any McConey Cup winners come out of my basement, but there will be somebody that says, "Hey, I might be good at this. I want to do this more."
Right.
And that introduces again that playtime to them. And is playtime a waste?
No.
Our generation has been told that it is.
Yeah. Again, with audiobooks, with all of the AI, our ability to create and be imaginative has been destroyed, especially in kids. Kids used to sit in color, but now they watch YouTube shorts. This is a big problem because one of the essences of being human, of having the spirit, is the creativity and ingenuity and the imagination that we have. That is huge, and we are giving that up so we can just be idly entertained,
ingest,
and yes, and burnt out. But this is something that I try to still do with my kids. We have games that there are no rules to. We just make them up as we go along. So, for example, my father and I used to play this game with a Nerf arrow. We'd sit on two opposite sides of the house, and we try to throw it and hit each other in the head. And it's a Nerf. Saturday, we went to a friend's house for a Halloween party, and Connor and I found a lawn dart.
A real lawn dart?
Not the metal ones, but it has like a rubber end.
Yeah.
So we decided to play with that. Getting hit in the face, like, all right, well, let's try it this way. How about we turn our backs and you try to hit it in the back of the head? So Connor, the father of the guy who owns the house, could not stop laughing at watching Connor get hit with this lawn dart. And when we're done, he has these two knots on the side of his head and one in the back of his head from getting hit with this lawn dart.
So I take it you won.
Yeah, he didn't win any. But that was just, hey, you know what? There's a lot of like people we don't know. Let's play a game. You want to play a game, Connor? Sure. All right, this is a game my father invented when we were younger. I'm going to hit you in the head with this lawn dart. And we had a blast. And now that's a core memory.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll always
I don't recommend anybody else playing that game unless you have something softer.
But if you do have a set of 1970s lawn darts and you want to get rid of them, please contact me. I would love to have them. I miss them. I think that needs to. The element of consequence was learned very quickly with lawn darts.
Yeah.
Back to creativity and how we've just divested ourselves from it. I don't write as much. I wanted to be my age now. When I was like 25, 28, I wanted to be 50 and I wanted to write. I wanted that to be my job, I mean, part of my job. And I do write extensively now, but it's all interlaced with study. But if you will journal, which I've failed miserably at in the past several years, if you will journal, that can be that quiet time. That can be that playtime. What it does for me is it gives me an opportunity to transcribe the chaos that is my brain.
Yeah.
And if I can fashion that in a short story or a poem or simply prose thoughts, free flow thoughts, that is a great dump. And I don't take that much of an opportunity. Somebody asked me I taught a series for 2.5 months at church on Wednesdays about all the different names, titles, monikers, and the way that Christ was recognized just in the book of John. And there's a ton of them. And several people wanted different notes from the living water or the bread of life or whatever. And the way I did that, I did it very selfishly because I did it as a personal study that is applied to Toby. And then I shared the notes applied to whoever. But one lady in particular came up and she said, I was out of town all summer long and I really want to study that with you. can you give me those notes? And I said, sure. I filled up a 120-page notebook on those notes. And I said, sure, no problem. And then I started reading the notes, and I realized how much uh, interjection that I put in there. And I told her, I said, honey, I'll work on that this winter and make you a concise outline of that study. Because if I gave you my notes, they would appear to be rambling. There's some things in there that are written that would be salacious against other people. And it's not because I was being malicious towards other people. It's just I had detached so much. I was free flow conscious writing.
Yeah.
Now, whenever I'm standing there teaching from those notes, I know let's not touch this. That's not in there for this reason.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was writing, I was unloading stuff.
Yeah.
And that was a subconscious. That tells me I really need to consciously put forth that effort if I'm interjecting it subconsciously.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got something that you do that you can have an outlet, a pressure release, do it. I mean, it don't cost you anything. Just maybe if you write some things, don't let other people read them. I mean, I have an extensive catalog of things I've written that I don't want people to read before I die. And that's sad. And it's not because I don't want notoriety for it. I mean, I like attention, and I would like to have a claim even for maybe having a little bit of literary self. But those things are more interpersonal. But why do you even write them down? Why do you take the time and the energy and effort? I'll tell you why. It's therapy.
Yeah.
And, we pursue therapy. We look for the next gimmick, the next thing to do to make ourselves feel better, but maybe that's already in us.
Bringing that up with reading. So we'll take this in a couple of ways because that's how my brain's working right now. Science has proven the easiest way to become smarter is to read something and then write an essay about it. So let's say you're reading whatever you want to read. It doesn't matter. But you read a paragraph or you read a chapter, and then you're going to summarize it, and then you're going to kind of explore how it made you feel, what it made you think about, and it's going to entrain in your brain the ability to learn. And some people don't. It's harder for others to learn certain things or certain concepts. I suck at chemistry. I do not like chemistry. But other things just come very naturally. So just getting into that habit of reading something, you can read something for enjoyment, whether it be fiction or nonfiction, and maybe write something about it. How does that feel to you now today? Because if you go back and look at that entry, you're going to see an incredible amount of growth within a year, over a year, of this is the person I was. This is what caught my eye. For example, there are plenty of people who read The Hobbit every few years because you are a different person when you pick that book up again.
I have two books that I do that with, and not one of them are The Hobbit. One is Larry McMurtry's Lonesome Dove. The Last Picture Show too. I read that quite often, not every year, but I read Lonesome Dove every year, and I read W.E.B. Griffin's The Core every year. The first three books of The Core.
Okay.
That's the onset taking us into World War II in the Pacific specifically, because I don't know why I want to talk about this right now, but I do. Where China was being invaded by Japan, and he puts this fictional character in the middle of it all and makes a real superhero out of him. But those two books are brain candy to me.
Yeah.
They are, I divest myself from reality. I have so many parts of them memorized that I have to really relegate to reading all of it. Because I'll think, well, this is where this happens, and I'll just skip this chapter. No, there's something in that chapter.
Right.
But that tells me that I have become not the person I was when I read it and I pored over it and I was voracious about it, because I wanted to learn something, but at the same time, I wanted a little escapism, and
Sure.
I don't afford myself that anymore.
Right.
And when you don't do that, you have heart attacks and anxiety attacks and
Yeah.
bad blood pressure. So yeah, read something. Go get a book off the shelf and read it.
Yeah. So this is great for, again, couples, social groups. How many book clubs are in the area? Do you know of any?
Not that I actually read books.
Yeah. But these are things that
I know several of those left-handed book clubs out there where people like to, I don't know, get together and listen to jazz.
Yeah, this is something that Americans do not read anymore. And that reading itself is like the number one for improving the education. And then becoming smarter is reading plus essay. But this is something that it's very hard to instill because you always feel like you have something else better to do, or you're easily distracted. You have to make it a habit, make it a good habit. You get up in the morning, you do your exercises, you do your stretches. If you have coffee, if you have tea, you read 5 pages. Just get in the habit of just getting in that a little bit.
Hey, I know a really good book too. It's probably, well, it is the most published book ever in the world. Do that with the Bible, and that's something that comes natural to me. Is just going to the Bible for answers. Sometimes you need to just go to the Bible to go to the Bible. It puts you in a different time and a place and atmosphere, and it's been the timeline of it is something that you can go and study. The language of it is something you can go and study. The culture of it is something you can go to study. But don't just study it, just ingest it, I mean, prayerfully and meditatively, just let the Bible become part of you. I mean, that it describes itself as being engrafted to you. Just because you consume something, it's going to affect you some way. It's going to take a chisel and knock out a chink and make you a different thinker or a different doer. But the Bible is something that, for your benefit, you let it become part of you. Now, if I was to go and read Mein Kampf, or if I was to go and read Karl Marx, or if I was to go and read Jung, or if I was to read that, I have to protect myself as I read it, because that influence is something that I have to be jaded against. It's good to take something and just let it change your color palette.
I would say with things like that, we would put that on a different tier, and you would have to do more literary exercises or more exposure to things because ideas can be proposed in a good, like why did you do that? Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
But if you had more exposure to the environment, if you had more exposure, you would have had that, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't a great idea. So I think with certain things like that, you have to really kind of like build up your literary knowledge, because phrases, neurolinguistic programming, how things are encoded, the way they're posed to you, can become a problem. So just getting in a habit of exposing the greats and the classics before getting into like political ideology. Every year for a while, I was giving my patients a book for Christmas.
I have a bunch of those books.
Yeah. One of my favorites, As a Man Thinketh. I love As a Man Thinketh. That's one of my favorite books.
It's in my truck now. It stays in my truck.
That's a great book. It's an easy read. Out from the Heart is the second book. It's not Alan Watts. I don't even remember the name of the author. Isn't that great? But I also have given them the works of Epictetus, who was a Greek philosopher. the works of Socrates written by Plato is a great. You can find them for like $7. You got a library here. You get into the library, and just explore. That there's a whole world uh, of just ideas and thoughts that aren't going to be spoon fed to you.
Well, okay, there's another point. Because first thing that you said a while ago, in a culture that has lost the sense of consequence, we have also forfeited objectivity. Whenever we read something or we ingest something or we experience something we don't understand, we seek out a sage in that field. And
Yes.
instead of developing our own thoughts, we say, well, what does this mean? My wife and I, Julie and I, on politics, she burns me up about this because I'll be in the middle of watching something unfold and she says, well, what does that mean? And I'm like, I don't know. I haven't read the end of this book yet. I haven't seen the end outcome of it. But she wants to forfeit objectivity to be subjective to my opinion. I appreciate that says she trusts me, but maybe I don't know what's going on. So don't ask me to have a full-fledged hashed out opinion of it yet.
Yeah.
And that's the world that we live in right now. Is we rush to conclusions, we jump on a bandwagon, and that burdens us too, because now we've become clannish in a school of thought. That's my big problem with academia right now. We are not churning out thinkers. We are churning out uncooked biscuits. I mean cookie cutter, and we don't have free thought anymore. We don't have individualism. And a lot of my peers in the pastoral vocation, they are so anti-individual, and Christ did not call us. He called us to be part of a body, not a part of a machine. And in order for a body to be recognized, it's got to have characteristics and features, and that requires individuals, people with unique gifts, to come along. Everybody don't have the same gift. Everybody can't carry the same load. So individualism is something that I really would like to see birthed out of this anti-technology notion of this generation coming up. Some creators and thinkers and inventors. And I want to see, I'll say this and scathingly, I'll say it, I don't want to reach the age of artificial intelligence. And so many people say we already have, but we haven't. What we're doing now, we're in an influential stage.
What we have been shown, compared to what they may have actually have and may have had decades ago. So that age of artificial intelligence, that could have happened, maybe in the late 90s.
Yeah.
But we are only being given little bits and pieces, breadcrumbs. And here we are, Hansel and Gretel, going down to that little witch's house, looking for that sweet, sweet artificial intelligence.
She's going to laugh at us and say, you've been lured in. You're living a lie.
But but we have to go with that interface. This whole concept of reality, I find as a joke. I've always said it's all theater.
What if Rockefeller had access to what we have access now? We would be more enslaved than we already are.
When you said Rockefeller, I was thinking of that one artist from the 50s and 40s. Oh, he did all the Time magazine pictures. I think.
Pop art, Andy Warhol.
No. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts.
Orwell.
Rockwell. When you
Orwell. I'm so hung up on Orwell.
When you said Rockefeller, I'm thinking, what if Rockwell had AI? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been quite as picturesque.
That's a whole different game, and that gets as much attention as it needs to invoke, like a spell, invoke emotions to control us.
You mean there's things that are spells?
Oh yeah. Yeah, anything that you give your power away to irrationally,
Mm-hmm.
you're under its spell. You're under its control. Why did you do that? I don't know. I thought it would make so and so happy. Like I don't know. He really angered me. When you are now working outside of reason and rational thinking, because you've been prodded, you've been invoked, you've given over your will, and that's happening anytime you pick up your phone. Uh,
If you were to get up from the pulpit of any church in this country and say what you just said, it would break the matrix because so many people are under that spell.
yeah, and again,
But like I said, to the positive, there are people that are realizing this consciously or subconsciously, and they're throwing it as far away from themselves as possible. And I want to be that person. I mean, I have an experiment coming up next week where for 2 weeks we're divesting ourselves of that. Is the world going to keep turning because Toby don't have a working knowledge of everything that's happening right then and right there? The world will keep turning.
oh yeah,
But maybe I don't have to turn as fast with it.
right.
And if I can get in a healthy habit of being a little bit more detached, I know I will see a benefit because I did that same experiment 3 weeks ago. Way different world I come back to. Next, whenever we go in 10 days and we start that for 2 weeks, I'm hungry for that. I'm hungry to just not be oblivious. I don't want to be a blind sheep. I mean, that's not my goal. I don't want to be one of those people that says, well, I don't get into politics. Well, I'm sorry, but politics is influencing you. You better learn how to influence it. Or I don't want to know about current events. Well, that's why current events are going to tide over you.
So this is that whole concept too of you are in this world, not of it.
Mm-hmm.
That goes with the reality that they propose to you. So you hear what's going on in politics. You hear about current events. You're looking at a painting. Okay, I see it. But when you start being in the world and of it, now that painting is going to invoke feelings. This is so horrifying. I can't believe they're allowing this to happen. It's rattling your spirit and taking away your center, and you are no longer present. So it's good to see the big picture and look at it and go, and this is a very Taoist thing. The Taoists were objective observers. They're neither good nor bad, neither hot nor cold. This is what it is. And I observe it and I understand its nature. And by understanding its nature, I know how it will benefit me or it will harm me. That snake has an arrow-shaped head. Okay, that snake does not. There's no, oh my God, there's a snake here. And that's what media does. That's that.
Oh, you said there's a painting. Okay. I take umbrage with that statement.
Go for it.
Because I love art.
Great.
I love art. I love the way it influences me. I love to expose people to art. I just mean not in a, hey, tape your eyelids open, look at this picture and tell me what you feel. I like to see people encounter art because I know how it impacts me. Now, instead of saying there's a painting and now I'm going to engage with that painting and it's going to invoke an emotion, that's very healthy. I mean, that's the artist's product.
Right.
What you're talking about, what you were referring to was the way we all look at peace in the Middle East, the way we all look at the economy, the way we all... So
the theater.
Yes.
We'll use the theater.
The theater. That's excellent. Because Julie and I, she took me this summer to an interactive virtual
Van Gogh. Yeah.
That was incredible. She had never experienced Van Gogh. I studied art history for 3 years. I love the reason that certain things were created at that point in time. And Van Gogh, man, he was he himself, I mean, he was an individual, but he had external influence. I mean, he had very Japanese
Yeah, that's right.
influence ingrained into his artwork. But my wife loves irises.
Mm-hmm.
So she calls me up one day and she said, I just bought us tickets to go to this exhibit. And in the back of my mind, the first thing that I thought of, she loves the flower iris. She loves irises. She had no idea that Van Gogh did an entire series on irises.
Right.
So here we are, and she kind of goes in. She's excited about going to this exhibit for some reason. That's not necessarily her persona. So I was excited to go with her. That was a treat. And the cool thing is, I got some Starry Night cufflinks out of it too. She bought that for me for my birthday. But we go into this, and you sit down, and there's this 40-foot screen, and you're surrounded by his work, and it comes to life, and it's moving. And you go through different stages of his life, and then you get to his iris face, his still life face. And, I loved it. I mean, it was coming alive in me. And she was like, "Oh, I'm a Van Gogh fan now." Did you know so many people live without a positive influence because they're so unwilling to not be exposed to something?
That's right. And that's the same thing we talked about reading books too.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being exposed to like getting out and meeting people in your community. Our world gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's because we put on blinders and we create these concretions of this is who I am. This is what makes me happy. This is what makes me sad. And we will cycle through these emotions for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to detach from that, break down the concretions, and go, hey, wow, this sunset is different than yesterday's sunset. This is amazing. You know?
Why is it in our masculine culture, or the shreds of what's left of our masculine culture, so many men say, I don't read? I want to pick them up and shake them and
I
say,
don't know.
Why? I mean, that's free knowledge.
I know. I don't understand. Maybe there's a vulnerability to it. Maybe that there's like, okay, so here, the very first thing that children can control, their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Try to feed it?
Nope.
No. Now the child goes to school. You need to read this. No. It is a way of imposing a will in a way that it's detrimental. Not eating, not feeding,
not triggering.
Yeah,
you need to be triggered.
But there's there's a long line of, what are you, a nerd?
Mm-hmm.
Even William the Canterbury Tales, William Chaucer, right?
Mm-hmm.
The poet, the scholar, was long and frail and weak looking.
Mm-hmm.
There's always been people who read are skinny, frail weaklings.
And that is projected upon us. Could that be because that there was elements of society that did not want us to have knowledge?
Oh, for sure. During that time, what was the common language for church?
Latin.
Yeah. Who spoke Latin?
The priest, and that's it.
Yeah. We don't want. Yeah. So, and then who had a big problem with the printing press?
The church.
Yeah. And why is that? Oh, well, if they read it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the whole concept of
we lose power.
Yeah. And then also, being the smartest man in the room, you think of Jafar from Aladdin, right? Or all those movies where the king has that counselor who's even just like a few notches higher than everybody else. Are they seen as a nice guy?
No.
They're always conniving and working in the shadows. They don't ever have, except for Merlin. But he also worked in the shadows.
Well, smart. God gives us intelligence not just for self-gratification or edification. He gives us intelligence to bring other people up.
Right, but what I'm saying is, in the literary works or the entertainment, the smartest ones are always seen as like figuring out what's in it for me.
It's a character.
Yeah. So you have either you're a nerd, or you're working the shadows to get what you need.
I own being a nerd. I'm not ashamed of the fact that I am 51 years old and I still have a zest for knowledge and understanding. And believe it or not, I want to hear somebody else's opinion.
Have you ever heard me talk about Chinese medicine?
Yes. You are a nerd.
I am a meatball nerd.
Yes, you are.
All right, so I think this is it, man.
Yeah.
I
hope you've enjoyed just laughing with us because and I came in, first thing I told him is my anxiety is over my head right now. It always happens this way. I try to get a sabbatical. I try to run away. And I say that poignantly. I try to run away. And when I do, things pile up before I go. And that causes me, are you really benefiting from something that causes you this much angst? I have to weigh that out and I say, yeah, I need to get away. That's making time for me, yes, selfishly, but it's also making time for my wife.
Mm-hmm.
It's making time to change scenery and just go,
yeah,
get rid of some toxins that are in me, you know?
I get it. This Friday, thank you for the invite, but I'll be at Scarefest weekend.
Oh, have fun.
Oh, 3 days.
October Scarefest.
Oh, yeah. The Halloween is my jam, but this one, we're going against the Coneheads.
Yeah, you told me that you had kind of finally got down on that. What was the other one?
Golden Ghouls.
Golden Ghouls.
Oh my God, I wanted to do Golden Ghouls so bad. Zombie versions of the Golden Girls.
But last year you were cereals, weren't you?
Serial killers.
Serial killers.
Yeah. And I think next year, we got it locked down. Zombundies.
The Bundys.
Married with children. Bundies, zombies. We haven't done a zombie theme yet, and I'm so pushing. So we'll do that. I'll be Al, which means I will not be able to shave my head for like the whole year. We'll see what that looks like.
That'll be awesome. I look forward to that in and of itself. So, hey, thanks for being with us, and I hope you just laughed along with us. And we love you, and we thank you for letting us invade your space.
You guys have a wonderful week. If you got anything from this, share it with a friend, subscribe. We are doing this just to get positivity back out into our community.
Down in the comments, tell us your I won't say avarice, but tell us what you do to escape.
Yeah.
Just what grinds your gears, what cranks your tractor, what you use, and it might be reading, might be art, might be the majority of the people in my life. If I was to ask that question, they would say, "I love to shoot guns." You know? That's an outlet.
Jessica's is music. Music. She'll listen to the same song days in a row and just keep singing her heart out. So, all right, guys, you take care. I'm gonna beat up.